Good morning and welcome to the show. This is In Touch, and In Touch is our weekly half-hour public affairs show, which means if you are a nonprofit group or organization here in the Hudson Valley, we'd love to have you on the program to talk about what areas of concern you are addressing, the communities that you are helping here in the Hudson Valley, and if you are a company that is helping out a nonprofit group or organization, whether that's through education, whether that's through membership, whether that's fiscally, we'd love to have you on the show as well. So at the end of the program today, I will tell you a whole bunch of ways that you can get a hold of me. No problem. And you could be on the show as well. So let me turn on the microphones and say this is pre-recorded. So I did not ask Patrick Paul, who is the executive director and CEO of the Anderson Center for Autism, to get up at this hour. So it's pre-recorded. But as you can tell, we're going to be talking about the Anderson Center for Autism. So Patrick Paul, welcome. Thank you very much for being willing to put yourself behind the mic again. It's been, I think, maybe 4 years.
I think you're right. And I'm very happy to be back. It's always a pleasure spending time with you, Beth.
The Anderson Center, thank you. The Anderson Center, I love that whenever anyone is on from the Anderson Center, the thing that I love the most is the growth that happens there. The passion that is there from everyone that is there, that works there. The development, the families and the individuals that are helped. I mean, I don't know that I've been able to get through an interview and not be teary-eyed because it's very powerful what it is that happens at the Anderson Center.
Yeah, I appreciate that because I think you hit the nail right on the head. I think it does take a lot of passion, a lot of energy of all the volunteers, the staff, especially working with the children and adults. I'm always amazed at their dedication and their hard work. So every day I sit as a witness to really what's good about people. So I'm very, very happy to be associated with Anderson. I'm extremely happy to be the CEO and executive director, and I feel very blessed to have this opportunity.
Now, I introduced you in a weird way. Anyone who listens to the show goes, "That's not how I did." I apologize. I introduced you in a weird kind of way, but. What I want to do too is, as we talked about before we turned the microphones on, is I know folks have heard of the Anderson Center, possibly the Anderson School, the Anderson Center, but as we find out so often when organizations come on the show, do they really know all that organization does and how it impacts not only people's lives that are there, but also the community? So kind of get us up to speed a little bit in terms of maybe a mission statements, some bigger things that have been happening. I know there's been a lot. This is an understatement. There's a lot that's going on at the Anderson Center. So kind of get us up to speed a little bit.
Sure. There is a great deal going on in Anderson. I think I first came to Anderson in 1994, but Anderson has been around since 1924. And I started out as the external auditor, believe it or not, I was CPA, and at some point I went there to help them to correct some issues financially and governance wise, and I've sort of fell in love with the place, and since then I've had a variety of positions, and as you see right now I'm the CEO, but I was a chief operating officer. Most of those positions, believe it or not, most of the time I was there was not dealing with financial issues; it was dealing with programmatic issues, and that's really felt that that I really was doing something that was really important, and I appreciate, as I said, the opportunity. But Anderson, just to let you know, has grown a great deal. I think when I first went there in 1994, there's about 275 employees. We're up to about 900 employees now, and we're one of the largest employers in Dutchess County. Mm-hmm. Now that growth is the result of expansion of programming. Anderson School, as you said before, it started out as a school on a campus in Statsburg, New York. It's a 100+ acre campus, and basically we served children who had mental health issues, emotionally disturbed. They said back in those days, and there's been a transition since the 1990s where we were focused exclusively on children and adults with autism. During that time, there was an expansion off the campus into actually working with adults who have graduated from Anderson, most of them, but we do once in a while get folks from other places, and we started providing services in group homes, or what's known as IRAs, individualized residential alternatives, and that program has grown and expanded a great deal. So give you an idea of how many folks we serve residentially and on day programs. We have 138 children that we serve on our campus. 14 of those are day students that come from local school districts, basically. We have 124 opportunities, which are residential opportunities. Those are children who stay with us 24/7. And they come from all over the East Coast. So we've had students come from Massachusetts, Delaware. We have students from New Jersey, Connecticut, and a few other places that come to Anderson to receive services. So we're that's our residential and our children's residential in school program. We also have I think we're going to have 24 group homes in the community probably by the beginning of next year. And we'll also have probably 4 lifelong learning centers or day habilitation sites, and those are located in three counties: Orange County, Dutchess County, and Ulster County. And we're growing quite rapidly. Actually, we're probably growing faster than we really want to grow. We provide specialized services. We're the largest organization in the state of New York, providing residential and day services and overall services to individuals with autism that are just dedicated to individuals with autism. So we have a lot of demand for what we're doing, because, as you know, it's 1 in 68 right now, and we actually we had a radio station that was 1 in 88, and as time went on, we had to change it to 1 in 68. Thank God we had the 8 at the end of it, because it kind of sounds the same, but it just gives you an idea of the growth. I believe when I first started, it was 1 in 200 and something. So it's just been over these years, it's dropped down to those numbers. So there's a lot of individuals in the region that need support. So that's basically our residential and day programming. Additionally, we do provide consultation services throughout the state and outside the state to school districts with training, classroom support, school-wide support. So we've worked with most of the school districts in Dutchess County, most of the school districts in Ulster County, many of the school districts in Orange County, and obviously we have other school districts that we've worked with throughout the state and sometimes out of the state. So that's an area of growth that's occurring, and one of the components of our consultation is we're very connected, and we also have a contract through the Dutchess County, which is our autism supportive environment, where we actually work with businesses and not-for-profits and other organizations to, first of all, educate them on autism, to educate them on how to support individuals and their families. Because when someone with autism, and some individuals are very challenged and they have some significant sometimes behavioral issues, and when their family tries to go out to have dinner, or they try to go to certain places, it's very difficult. And so we work with businesses and hospitals. We work with banks. We work with hospitality, hotels and motels to help open avenues and opportunities for families to bring their children to these businesses. And it has been a tremendous success. And I want to say very thankful to Marcus Molinaro and the county for opening this up, because it's large demand, and they've really stepped up, and they've helped us to support all these other these initiatives that are in the county, specifically related to really making sure that families and individuals with autism access the community as they should.
Yeah, because if you think about it, I mean, I remember growing up, I at that time, no one asked my age, thank you, but at that time, my dad got paid once a month. That was the paycheck. So then I remember going to the bank, we'd go to the grocery store. Then if it was back to school, then you would go to one of the local stores, around Pittsburgh, which is where I grew up. And then, for a treat, we'd get, maybe go out to dinner, or, get, there was I just remember this amazing hot dog restaurant. My mother was like, please don't feed these children hot dogs, but we did. So that was part of growing up, and you would see that, and you would see the bank, and you knew what these locations were and what they did, and they just became part of your life. And if you think about it, if there is a family with someone, an individual who has autism, you may not be able to go to that many places all at once in one afternoon or an evening. It may be too much. And, unfortunately, there are people who will judge without thinking, and will give you stares, and nobody needs that. Not when, you are dealing with your family and doing the best that no one needs that. So it's great that there are these businesses that you guys have worked with that are trained, that the staff knows, the owners know that they could go, because being able to go out to dinner, I think it would almost feel like you were able to go on vacation because you didn't have to worry.
Sure. No, absolutely. And those businesses are on our website. So,
cool.
If other folks in the area are looking for autism-friendly environments, places where you call ahead and you talk to the someone who's there and let them know that you're going to be coming in, you're going to be bringing your child. Maybe you might need a quiet place, or you might need some supports to help the individuals pick what they want. Whatever's necessary for the businesses will definitely go out of their way to make sure that you have the best experience possible.
Wow.
And let's say things don't go right. Things just don't go right, and there's an expectation that that's the way it's going to be. And so yes, anybody who's looking for opportunities like that, go on our website, and you'll see businesses that have really opened their arms and their hearts to make sure that everyone in the community has access.
I think, to me, like you said, it was very telling when you said we're growing faster than we would like to, because when you grow, that means there are more and more individuals who are on the spectrum, who need the services. And as you've mentioned, I remember when I first started doing this show, In Touch, was in 95. Okay, maybe late 95, early 96. And I do remember that number of 1 in 200. And there's been some different individuals, and I listened as that number, it didn't go the direction that anybody wanted it to go. The fact that it's 1 in 68 now, and that's not that long of a span of time.
No, it definitely isn't.
So just the fact that there's these businesses working with schools and with teachers to help them, with some students that, are able to be in the classroom, how do you handle that? How do you, make sure that they get the education they need and all of that? I think that's very powerful. So you guys, like you said, you have the residential program, you have the residential homes, you have children that will come in from the different school districts on a daily basis. You have children that stay there. You guys are also doing with the school. You're also doing with businesses. I don't know how you found time. I mean, I realize you have a great staff and volunteers, but it amazes me anytime anyone from Anderson Center can actually come here to the radio station to be able to talk about it, because there's so much, and there's so much planning that goes on that you guys are always looking forward.
Well, we're trying to keep up. We're trying to keep up. I think that's closer to it. And there is so much need out there. Yeah. And, we have to obviously secure the support, whether it's, we have to have staff. Look, I mean, one of the biggest issues that are out there right now is staffing. There seems to be a smaller and smaller pool of people of working age here, especially in this area, because a lot of people of that age are leaving. And there is an influx of more folks coming in, but at the same point in time, we struggle like most not-for-profit and other businesses that are for-profit. You struggle to find good employees. So we're growing, and so over the next probably 18 months to a year, I'm going to need over 100 employees.
Wow.
And so that's a struggle for us to find 100 good employees. And there's a lot of good people out there, but there's a lot of jobs out there. So we're in competition. Mm-hmm. So that is a struggle for us. And we actually also have a presence internationally. We have folks who come from all over the world to come to receive diagnostics or support from us. So they'll come in, they'll be here for a couple of weeks. We'll help to provide them. We'll do some testing. We'll give them some diagnostics. And additionally, we'll send them many times away with a plan that they bring back to wherever they came from, and they implement that plan. One of the other areas that we're very involved in is we bring a lot of fellows from all over the world, from Europe, from Asia, from Africa, from South America, from all over, basically, and they come here and they train with us for a year and a half. And so they receive some important training. Right now, I think we have 9. We've had up to 20. We're looking at probably being around 20. So probably over the years, we've trained from all over the world. We've probably trained hundreds of individuals, more than hundreds of individuals, probably 300 or 400 individuals on providing services to individuals with autism, not in the U.S., but also outside the U.S., which is very exciting for us. And we still maintain contact with those individuals. In fact, there's quite a few countries where the autism experts in those countries, I'll give you one: Slovakia, Bhutan, and a lot of other places. All the experts there were trained by us.
Wow.
So so it's very it's sort of it's mission driven and something that we're very proud of.
Wow. My goodness gracious. You talk about having something in the community that is not only serving the population and helping out individuals and families, but, look at the folks that you are bringing into the county and the people that come into the county. And there are other businesses that benefit from that people come here and they see what the county is and all it has to offer, in addition to all that Anderson Center can do for them or for their country.
And we spend, I wish I knew the exact figure, but it's 90+% of the money is spent locally. So as far as, people talk about not-for-profits and obviously we're not paying property tax on a lot of the property, but we're an economic engine for the county by far. Obviously 900 employees is tremendous, and we're spending those dollars that we receive from all over the world and from New York and from other states. We're spending them right here locally. And obviously we employ 900 people locally too.
Right,
so,
exactly.
So, it is an economic engine for the area.
That's amazing. When you talk about you need to secure support, for programs, that's where, looking ahead and seeing where it's going and what's needed and all of those things. What can the community do? If you could, and you can this morning, say, what can the community do? What do you need help with from the community?
What we get a lot of, and it always is just so wonderful to me, is we have folks who find out about us, and what they end up doing is they end up doing third-party fundraisers for us. Those are great. I mean, we're willing to support anybody out there in the community who they may have a child who has autism, or a relative who has, or a friend's child, or they have a friend who has autism, whoever it is, or maybe someone with autism who really wants to give back. Just if you give us a call and you want to do something, we are there to support you and helping to support us. Because the bottom line is that there's a reduction in obviously government funding, and we're always looking to make up that gap, and we've been able to do a lot of that through donations and fundraising. Even direct fundraising was even something that really supportive, and that's the only way we're able to make up that gap is through that through donations and so yes, if anybody wants to support us, we'd be happy to talk to you and work with you to do that. Because
you don't, like you said, there is such a need, and you, as you said, and smiled and said, look, we're just trying to catch up. You certainly do not want to pull back on any programs. So I mean, that's where this becomes really valuable, that folks can rally around and can help out so that you can continue to serve. I mean, my husband worked at Anderson School.
Yeah, we talked about that
in the 80s, yes. Right? And then you saw how it developed. And I, for a couple of years, you would see the photos. I would see the photos in the paper of the students graduating. And, I would tear up because those families may, at the time of the diagnosis, may have never thought that would ever happen. And they got that, and their child got to experience that. Helping, as you said, sometimes there could be behavioral issues, whatever it is, to know that you guys have had an impact on a family and their life, and maybe allowing better communication, easier communication, better understanding, reducing the stress, because there's folks that know what this is, and how do you do this? How do you, when you get that diagnosis, the child that you had may not be there, the picture you had in your head, and families struggle with that. If there is someone listening this morning, they're not sure, they think maybe might be on the spectrum, they don't know, or maybe there's someone that's really been struggling. What would you suggest to help them out, or can they call the Anderson Center?
Yes.
Where do they start?
You can always give us a call. We're more than happy to lead you in the right direction, because there's different directions to go in.
Right.
And
it's not a one answer fits all. Right.
It's definitely not a one answer fits all.
Right.
It definitely is not. So it's 845-889-4034.
Okay. So they just call that number and
and we'll make sure that call is given to the right person, and they'll be able to help. But if you're a child, the first place to start is your pediatrician, and really start to have those discussions. The school districts are intimately involved in this. They have a responsibility to provide whatever support is necessary. So that's another area that you can look. And as you're sure of certain things, it's early intervention, which is something that comes through your school district or comes through the county. So you really need to start to access services the best you can. One of the things that is amazing about this county is that this is a very friendly county for individuals with developmental disabilities and other disabilities. Mark Molinaro, and I said it again, the Think Differently campaign is just fantastic, because as we share a vision, and our vision is to make communities understanding and friendly and knowledgeable on the fact that all these individuals are part of the community. They've always been part of the community, but now we have to say that they're required to be part of the community. The federal government, the state government, they're doing the right thing. They're saying that we're not going to be looking to have institutions or segregate people. No, they're citizens of this country. They have rights, and they have the rights to be part, and they have the right to have access.
Yep.
To community supports and community services, and we all have to come to that realization, and it's something that if you're in the right place and you're in the right mind and you understand people, that you'll come to that to know that everyone deserves this opportunity to be part of the community.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned earlier, you talked about different residential homes and some other opportunities, for lack of a better word, in my brain right now, in Orange and Ulster counties. So your service area, while you're located in Dutchess, it isn't just, I know we talked about the fellows coming and international, but what is your service area? It is all over.
Well, basically, if you know about us, people know about us, and most of the time at the school, folks come via a school district recommendation. So we're getting referrals from Pennsylvania, from Connecticut, from New York, Massachusetts, and we've had students from Delaware. We've had students from all those areas come here and receive services. But it's one of those situations where we're here. Obviously, we need the funding in order to support this. This is very expensive for a child to be here. And we actually have a few folks who are paying out of pocket for it, which is only a few people are going to be able to do that, because it is very expensive, because we really provide a level of service that is the highest level of service. If we can't support you here, a lot of individuals leave the state to go to other places that have a more intensive program, partial hospitalization programs.
Yeah.
And so we're the last stop for individuals with the challenges that we're talking about, who are at Anderson, many of them. And there are some other individuals who don't have those challenges that we work with. So we have a spectrum, as they call it, of individuals that we work with. So
I think sometimes too, when you talk and you go out to businesses and you educate the staff, and also obviously in education, I think my nephew is on the spectrum, and he's obviously at a different place than many others. And I remember that being very, very hard to explain to some family members. It's like, no, you either have something or you don't.
Yeah.
Like you're either 100% or you're nothing. And it's like, no, that's not how this works.
There's a spectrum and a continuum.
Yeah.
That's so you could have someone who may have some cognitive issues, or you could have someone who's brilliant and may have some social issues.
Yeah.
So there's a mixture of, as the old saying, if you met one person with autism, you met one person with autism. So everyone is individualized, and they're going to need different supports. And even typical people need different supports.
Right.
So it's like anyone else. You know,
there's nothing different. But sometimes I think that's also part of the process in terms of educating someone. And like you said, and so beautifully worded, everyone has a right and a right to be here and to be included and to live the best life that they possibly can, and thank goodness that you guys are there, because what you are all able to do, I've seen the difference that you've made in people's lives is very powerful. And I know that some of the students, when you said this is the last stop, they'd been at different places, and it just, it was heartbreaking, to see, and then to come to Anderson, and it's almost like everyone can breathe. Breathing is such an amazing thing to be able to do. Sometimes you don't realize you've been holding your breath.
Yeah.
For 5 years or 6 years.
Waiting to exhale, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I have seen that you have been able to do for families. I mean, this is an understatement, and here I get teary-eyed, but that's an amazing thing to have witnessed, to have seen.
And you're right, and it's really difficult to describe unless you're there with a parent, and they're explaining to you what Anderson has meant to them.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you get teary-eyed because you can't imagine that, you can't imagine what that is, and when somebody explains it to you in the detail what it meant to them, it's just it's all inspiring, and it completely blows you away, and it makes you want to come in and work twice as hard as you did the day before.
So let me ask you this question, as we have about 3 minutes left, believe it or not.
It always goes so fast.
I told you we could do an hour. So what is the website so folks could and just before you answer that question, just know that we will have links to that in the article when folks are listening to this on demand on the station. But what is the website that folks can head to and get information?
It's Anderson Center for Autism.org.
Okay. Now, can folks also, when you talk about employees, and talking about those, is there a place on the website that if someone's listening this morning going, hey, wait a second, I would love that, they can find that information out there
Absolutely.
Too. Okay.
And please, if you're dedicated and you're hardworking and you have compassion and you really want to make a difference in lives, come work for us. We'd love to have you. That is probably one of our biggest challenges today, is really finding people, and we're better off than most, but we still have probably close to 80 to 100 vacancies.
Wow. So head to the website. If you're listening this morning and this applies to you or maybe someone then please direct them to the website. And again, whatever station you're listening to this morning, we're going to have this on the website. So know that we'll have links. Patrick, as we're getting ready to wrap up, any closing comments, final thoughts you'd like to leave this morning?
Well, the one thing that I always want to do, and this employee base is always, I always try to take an opportunity to thank everyone who works in Anderson. Like I say, every day I am amazed at what they do. Just the other day, there's a very challenged young man who the staff were working with on a 24-hour basis. And I'm like, how do you do that? Yeah. How do you be so patient and caring? And it's just so a difficult situation. And again, I'm blown away because they say this person deserves the best, and we're doing the best we can, and it just humbles you. You think you're somebody, CEO or whatever, and you realize that, look, what really matters is what those folks are doing right there at that particular time. Mm-hmm. And you're sort of just helping to facilitate that, but they're the people who are making the biggest difference for individuals that we serve. So I just want to thank them.
Well, Patrick, thank you so much for being here. I'm teary-eyed now. Like, I thought I was over it, but then your final comments got me again. Thank you for all that you do.
Well, thank you for having me.
You guys can come back at any time, because I know there's always things going on, and And as you guys go on your journey to help families and individuals, there's new challenges ahead, and we will help out in any way that we can. So just let us know.
Well, I appreciate, and Beth, you're wonderful.
Oh, God love you. You're so nice. You're so nice. Okay, I'm teary-eyed again. Okay, good. All right, thanks all of you guys for listening, and thanks for being here this morning. Remember, like I said, on whatever station you're listening to, just go to the website. There's a keyword box in the upper right-hand corner. Just put in touch, and it will bring up this program, and you can listen to the interview there. And around the interview, so to speak, in the post, you'll see links to everything that you need. If you'd like to be on the program and talk about what is important to you here in the Hudson Valley, I would love to have you here. So here's how you do it. You can call 845-471-1500, extension 159. You can email beth.christy, CHRISTY, at townsquaremedia.com. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Pinterest. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Periscope. I'm probably on way too many things. So you can find me, and I hope you do. Take care of yourself and those you love, and we'll see you right here next week.